Hello, she is me. We are back again. Today we are with Larkin Cholmondeley, and she is one of our founding members. She's back with us today. We're so excited to have her, and I will be back to wrap up with her afterwards. But thank you so much again, Larkin, for joining us. I really appreciate you being here.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited about today.
All right,
Thanks,
here you
Lisa.
go. You're welcome.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to 2022. I have some amazing things. I'm getting chills sitting here, getting ready to speak to you. The first time I was a part of this conference, which I'm so honored and grateful to be a part of, and I'm so honored to be invited back. Um, I came on as a money and abundance manifesting specialist, and I am. But I want to share not only my story, like the story I shared last time that brought me to where I am right now, my human egoic story, but I also want to share with you my journey as a coach, um, and an individual myself, here in this world right now. And some of the things that I've discovered over the last 15 years of teaching and coaching, and especially this past year. And I'm going to tie that together with the direction I'm going to be taking things this year. So if there's any way I can serve any of you, you guys can relate and understand where I'm coming from with that as well. First and foremost, I would say that I am an energy alchemist, like each of you. I started my journey as a coach, coaching health and wellness, and then coaching relationships, and doing spiritual coaching and readings. And all of that gets combined into how I serve my clients today. But one thing is for sure, and this is what everything is based off of. Everything is energy. Everything. So today, to welcome in our new year, 2022, I'm going to light a candle. I have some incense burning back there, and I'm going to light a candle because everything is energy. And what better to represent energy but a flame, right? So here is an honor of you and of all you're going to create this year. And in order to create, you must create space, right? To bring in something new, you must create space. Inner space first. And this includes money in abundance. So for those of you who signed up to listen to my presentation today based on the money in abundance, I'm going to give you some deep insights into what true abundance and true money and wealth actually are. And we're going to have this little candle right here next to us because the fire represents energy, and you are a flame yourself, right? So let's keep that in mind as we are talking today. Last year, I shared with you here my initial human egoic story as to how I became a coach and why my real focus was to help creative, intuitive, spiritual women who really were struggling with life, were struggling with juggling, money and kids and work and all of that, who were really struggling with confidence and shame over money, over charging for themselves, over doing what they love. From that inspiration came the coaching I've done for several years, where I help women to take what they love and create a living out of it. And in that journey, just to quick summarize, that came about because of one of my old past stories, which I've been asked to share my stories with you. And I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this one because it's such an old story to me now. And I've made quantum leaps and paradigm shifts over this past year, specifically these past few months. And that's really what I want to spend this time focusing on with you. But for those of you that don't know my old story, so you can relate it to your own, I want to share with you, my drive to help creative, intuitive, sensitive women who maybe would have never gotten out of their struggle with money was simply because I believe that there are so many people in the world living in the egoic dimension where they're not necessarily using money, which is just energy, for the greater good, right? They're not using it with an alignment with their vortex. They're not using it as contribution to the world where it can be shared and help everyone. I don't mean giving to charity even necessarily. I mean really investing that money, that energy where it belongs. So I was witnessing and had gone through myself being a person that was always crying, struggling to, pay for the next rescued animal, seeing people throw their money away on things, um, you know, having their priority be, their plastic surgery or their car or their house. And my vision was, what if all that money could go to the elephant rescue, to saving the planet, to healing the sick, right? To making the world a better place. There's so many amazing, generous ways to use money. And so that was my initial drive, because the women that I saw who would do that were the ones struggling with money, spending their life in survival, going to bed and waking up to be a slave to money, and not having the freedom to use their gifts and abilities and passions. Okay. So I had my own long, sad journey of this, and, heartbreak and, bankruptcy and all of that. And that set me up for the story I want to share with you this year. Because for the last 5 to 7 years, I've been teaching women as well how to build money in abundance and create businesses that were based off of their passions, right? That were in alignment with their vortex. So I've been doing that, combining mindset work and conscious awakening, okay? Facilitating those so they can have alignment, but they learn the mindset habits that have kept them from what they desire and where they want to go. Well, this year I had some pretty harsh lessons that were reiterated to me, and I think had been there for a few years, but it can take a while for some of this to sink in when your focus is, your family, your clients, all of that. So I've taken about the last 3 or 4 months off doing videos and that online to really get clear about what that was, so I could share that with you today and move forward in 2022. Because what has come about for me is a tremendous paradigm shift, thanks to this year's coaching practice of mine and some of my clients. So here are some things I've learned about human nature this year. And this is why I'm going to be shifting what I'm doing. So if you decide that you want to join any of my groups or come to any of my events or anything like that, I want you to keep these things in mind, okay? Because unlike most coaches, my work is not to promote to get as many people to follow me as possible. My work is actually to weed out those people who aren't ready for what I'm doing, okay? Who aren't ready for that next level. There are thousands of people out there that can help you to just build money, manifest money, whatever, learn all the technical stuff. But here's some things I've learned about human nature this year. And I think I knew before, but it just really hit home this year. First of all, if you've been following me on Facebook, I held a little money and abundance training every Wednesday. And one of the things I said every week was, money doesn't change you. And I don't know who said this quote. It's not my quote. Money doesn't change you. It brings out who you really are. And I got to experience that firsthand with my clients this year. And it wasn't just with money, because I don't just teach people to make money. It was about the egoic getting what you want. So think of it this way. Think about how you feel when you feel ill or you're sick, right? I think back to when I was a child and I felt ill, right? If I felt well and healthy and confident, then, I was more likely to be feisty or to fight back about certain things, or maybe to do or say or respond in ways that weren't as kind. But when I was sick, when I didn't feel well, when I didn't have what I wanted, I was much more likely to have regret, to be apologetic, to offer forgiveness, right? To be grateful for things, to appreciate things and people. And I've always remembered that as a child. As a kid, I always thought that was very interesting. As an adult, I see this in human behavior all the time. When clients first come to me and there's something they want, or they're struggling or they're suffering, right? They often have a particular demeanor. They might be super grateful. They might be super enthusiastic. They might be willing to do anything. But undoubtedly, not just with my program, but I have joined many, many programs to see how other coaches do things. And I have found this to be true, whether you're a coach that has 5 clients or whether you're a coach that has 50,000 clients. The human mind gets greatly influenced by the law of normalcy. So once the clients have experienced a certain amount of training or time with you, they either believe that there's nothing more they can learn, they've learned everything they needed, they're not getting the results they want fast enough, or it's not working, or they're bad at it, okay? And they will stop showing up for themselves, which is something you can't do if you want money in abundance, okay? Or they believe that they're starting to get success and results. They're getting what they want. And guess what happens, my friends? As soon as the human mind, this is nothing personal for any one of you, but the human mind, as soon as it gets what it wants, what does it do? It gets distracted and it goes off in a different direction. And this year, I had clients who, like every year, got distracted. They started making high ticket sales. They started getting more clients. They were able to retire from their jobs. And guess what happened? The real them started to come out. Now, it's vital, especially if you're trying to manifest money in abundance, that you manifest authentically. Because who and what is going on authentically in here is the actual reality you are creating. It won't necessarily show up immediately, but you will end up suffering the consequences if you don't get down to the root of that authenticity. Why don't people want to do that? Because everyone thinks they are authentic, because we don't really know what that means. Okay. And then we wonder why life bites us in the butt. And we look on the outside and we don't recognize the choices, attitudes, and habits that we had that created that reality. But one of the number one rules of manifesting is you have to understand that your reality is the result of your beliefs, habits, and choices that you have made in the past. Your current reality is old news. It's the past. And the easy mistake that the egoic mind makes is it tries to create a different future by reacting to the present the way it reacted to the past. It drags its old story with it. And, I love the fact that we were asked to tell our stories here today, because it is those stories that, yes, led us to where we are, but it is what we do with those stories. It is our ability to let go of those stories and create new ones that decides whether we quantum leap, whether we make a transformation. There's not one of you out there that cannot have what you want. And I'm not going to be using that word moving forward this year. I don't like the word, because what does want mean? Want means lack. So even when you say, I want that, you're indicating your lack of having it. And the law of attraction says like attracts like, right? So if you're thinking, your mind will tell you, I'm working towards this. But in reality, you're thinking, I really want that. So you're living and vibrating in a reality of lack. Okay. Now, I've spent the last few months really meditating on all of this because I'm completely shifting everything I'm doing this year. And that's why this is a little different than my conference last year. Because one of the things I realized, again, about human nature this year, and really I'm going to put into impact, is that, it is not our true core nature, but it is our egoic nature that makes us susceptible for falling for what we think we're going to get what we want. And as a coach, I've always taught, and I've been taught, you sell them what they want and give them what they need. But here's the problem. Every time you're dealing with a human being, what are you dealing with? The mind, which Eckhart Tolle says is synonymous with thought, is synonymous with ego, and it is. So since I help people break free of the mind and become more conscious, okay, I want you to think about what has to actually go into that process. We are living in a world that is fake. It's fake. So when people are looking for coaches and mentors, even if they don't realize it, they're acting off of the 95% of their mind they're unaware of. Did you know that? You're unaware of 95% of what you're thinking. And it is that 95% of your mind that is creating your reality, not the 5% that you're aware of. So if you're sitting here looking at me, making judgments and assessing and, do I like her? Do I not? Does she know what she's doing? Does she not? Do I agree with her or not? That's all your conscious mind, the 5%. But it's the 95% that's in your subconscious that I help my clients get down and reprogram. And here's the thing. If you don't already desire the intrinsic the intrinsic alignment, then the other tangible manifestations cannot come easily and effortlessly. And they will not come and bring you those feelings that are the reason you desire them in the first place. Okay? And I want to make this very clear. The coaching industry is over $300 billion industry. You have everything from coaches that have no life experience, that have done an 8 to 12 week carbon copy course where they're told exactly how to do it, how much time to spend with you, what to say, what worksheets to give you, what modules to set up. They've copied and pasted it. They look beautiful and shiny. To coaches that are really authentic and genuine and have a lot of experience to bring, that have created their own material like I have. To coaches that get on and they rent expensive clothes and cars and houses and they take photographs and it makes it look like they're very successful. But I want you guys, hopefully when you get off of here today, to step back and to really just take a look at how are you approaching life? Because the world that we're living in as a whole has created a fake reality. Our whole online thing, everything, a fake reality. If you're over 30, then you're old. No, you're not. That's marketing so that hundreds of billions of dollars can be made. You're not old. You are what you think you are. Your reality is what you believe it to be. Okay? My quantum leap this year has been an eye-opener to remind me that I don't want to work with people who want to make money. Because you know why? Because they lose sight of what will truly allow true abundance to flow. This is why so many people think that money changes you, but it doesn't. If you have a vision, if you have an inspiration, if you have a gift or a purpose, and you can, and you align with that. In order to stay aligned, you have to let go of a lot. You have to let go of other people's opinions about caring about that. You have to let go about what everybody else says you need in order to get that. You know, I have clients who are like, oh my God, if I don't have 500 likes, that's not true. Some of my most successful friends and clients who've been coaching longer than me, who have multi-million-dollar companies, they will get on and do a live. They're lucky if they get 2 likes. Does that mean their business isn't successful? No. But how are you conditioned? What is it you believe that is holding you back from what you really want? We have all sorts of reasons why we say the top 5% of people in the world get what they want. Let's forget about the word want because it sets you up for failure. Let's just forget about that. Instead, focus on what you love. What are you good at? What are your talents? What do you know, what can you not help but do? Right? Because covering up all of that is all the other things you're probably thinking that you're wanting. And anyone can get caught up in that, guys. Any person can get caught up in that. Okay. And we have to be careful because usually as soon as we get what we want, that part of us that's not so hot, that's egoic, shines through. And the key point of that is that when that happens, the ego says, you're winning, you're getting what you want, you're on top. But guess what? You're not. Because exactly what you give out is exactly what you get back. It may not be today. It may not be tomorrow. It may not be next week or next month. But it's like filling a glass of water. This isn't water. But filling a glass of water. Okay? If I put anything in here, this water level is still going to be even. It's just going to be higher. Right? So when we get to a point where we're saying, I would like to make money in abundance doing what I love because I want to serve, that's a different energy. Because I want to contribute, that's a different energy. Making discerning decisions about where that money goes or how we put forth that energy, that's different. Hopefully you guys are taking notes. When we stop chasing things, we can allow it to come to us. Think about it. If think about money and abundance and anything you want to manifest as something that you desire. If you're chasing it, what happens? If your dog gets loose and you chase it, what does it do? It runs away. If you're in a relationship and you're chasing someone, it runs away. If you're trying to get clients and you're chasing people down to be clients, what happens? They run away from you. Okay? So what I see is missing in not just the coaching industry, but in society is let's first learn to stop believing our thoughts. Let's first learn to stop reacting and step into your power so you can make decisions. You can respond instead of react. Because guaranteed you cannot run a successful business if you can't do that. Let's stop trying to look for shortcuts for everything that we want because that wastes the most time. It doesn't work. Eventually, years later, you'll find that you have to, if you want to get where you want to go, you have to go back and do those steps if you skip them. Let's not assume that everything is supposed to be easy. It's not. If you put forth the effort and then you say, oh my God, I wasted all this time. No, you didn't. Is it worth the realization that you just made? What did you learn from that process? Right? If you have to figure things out and you don't know how to do them, this is a lot of reasons why clients will leave a program. They get to a point where they're like, well, I don't know what to do next. I don't know the answer. Stop worrying about the answer and start asking a different question. Think about anyone you know that has created the lifestyle that you want, or something that they desire, and you admire them because they've achieved their desires, right? Do you think it was just handed to them? They're there because they're the people that are willing to go the extra mile. Okay. So this is one of the reasons why I'm very, very picky about the people that I work with, because that has to come from within us. Okay. So if we're looking to not just, we need to let go of this idea of what we want. Focus on what you love, what makes you joyful, what makes you happy. What do you wake up in the morning, inspired to do? You can't help yourself but to do, right? There's energy in that. There's alignment in that. And we don't go with it because we've been taught, no, you have to just this, and this. And what I learned was throughout my life, I got farther and farther and farther and farther and farther away from what was in alignment with me. My core always stayed there, which is why I'm back here with you now. But I jumped from different type of job to different type of job. Maybe I can do this. Oh, I'll be all right at that. I learn things quick. I'm good at all sorts of things. I could do that and make a living. I could do this. I could do blah, blah, blah. And then it was like, then it just became a means to an end, right? So let's step back and not just look in terms of money and abundance. Let's look in terms of you as an individual, staying in alignment with you, connecting with people at that same mindset and frequency, who aren't chasing money or chasing fame or chasing attention, but they are strong enough in their center that they have inner peace, which is very hard for people to acquire. I mean, it's easy, but it's hard in this world because of our mindset, right? Usually people are frantically running around. So hopefully when you get off of here today, what I encourage you to do first, if you got on here because you want to make money in abundance, I want you to sit back and really look at the people that have truly done that authentically, that enjoy it. Get attached to your big why. Get connected to your big why. Is it just because you want money? Because you want to go on a cruise or buy a house? Yeah, that's fine and great. That's your prerogative, but that's a whole different paradigm. Shifting into the new paradigm, we need to be asking, how can I use this to serve? This money in abundance would help me to serve the world, would help me to fulfill these desires or life purpose I feel that I'm here to fulfill. Right? Try taking it a little deeper, because the world we are living in is fake. And I never would have guessed in a million years that being in the coaching industry would have helped me to see that so clearly. And we have to be so careful to spend time offline, out in reality, with our feet in the dirt, with our quiet time in nature, away from people programming us and giving their opinion, in order to hear our inner voice. When I coach people, I help them connect to their inner voice, because that's what knows how to take you where you want to go. And we've forgotten about that. We teach, like I've been teaching, marketing. We teach how to close a sale. We teach how to sell the right audience what they want. We teach how to charge what you're worth. What you're worth could be priceless, what you have to offer. But you can't teach people, and you can't really coach people. People are still going to believe their thoughts first. They're going to do what they want no matter what. So my shift this year is, how can I find a way to serve people when they're going to do what they want anyway? How can I set them up and support them in a position where they can more quickly discover what they need? Maybe where you are right now in your learning process means that if you were to get the money or abundance or relationship that you wanted, that it would not be serving your greater good for what you need to learn. Because if we don't have pain and struggle, we don't learn. It's human nature. We get distracted by what we think we want. So how do you really remove that? You learn to step into your power, and you learn to stay in your center, and you learn to find the inner peace. Because then guess what? Your mind can't play off of what you want. I'm hoping this is making sense to some of you, because that leads us back around to like attracts like. That eliminates all the resistance, and the resistance is what blocks you, right? So this was a much more intrinsic sharing this year than last year. And the reason is because what I personally have learned is, if I work with people that are after money, abundance, success, and blah, 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 then that part of them is what comes out. And I have them doing things like misusing what I taught them, like they did this year. If I focus on people who are after the intrinsic part of it, the inner value, the inner peace, the means to serve, not the means to be served. If they're not entitled, but they are grateful and humble, then they stick with the program. Then they show up for themselves. Then they create money, abundance, and success authentically, that stays, that serves. Okay. So I've completely shifted where I am this year with that, because it's part of how I weed out the people that I want to work with. So here's my invitation to you. Use the start of this new year to step back and ask yourself, not what you want, which is what I've always taught. Find out what you really want. Stop focusing on what you want. Step back and just get quiet. What gets you excited? What gives you chills? What do you love? If money wasn't an issue, what would you be doing? What would bring you the greatest joy? Because I can tell you guys, I've had more money than I've known what to do with, and I was never so miserable. Thought I had the relationship I wanted. I didn't have to work. I was living like a princess, literally. Cars, fancy hotels, private jets, the whole thing. And you know what? I was miserable. So if you want to create the money in abundance from an authentic place where you can enjoy it and you can get the fulfillment that is contributing, then you got to start in here. Okay. Now, I told Lisa I was going to stop at like 35, because usually people have about a 15 to 20 minute attention span. But I'd like to invite you guys, if you'd like to learn more about this, if you'd like to learn more about your inner power and becoming more conscious and creating true authentic abundance, transforming out of your struggle and suffering, or just having some spiritual conversation and awakening your innate gifts, then you can check out my Powerful Choices Awareness Network. You can find me under my name here on Facebook. You can message me for a private session if you'd like. But allow this year to be a paradigm shift for you. Okay? And if you don't know what that is, connect with me and we can work on that. It's something you can't control, you can't make happen. It happens as you step out of your comfort zone and you allow yourself to stop resisting what is. Then you're just carried into that next paradigm. And that's what I'd love for each and every one of you, because that is where your true value, money, wealth, and abundance lies. Okay? I want to thank Lisa for having me again this year. I want to thank all of you who have tuned in or who are listening on the replay. And I look forward to seeing you on the next She Is Me conference.
Thank you, Larkin.
Thank you,
Yay.
Lisa, so much. Thank you so much. I'm going to go enjoy the rest of our wonderful speakers.
Oh, yeah, it's going to be great. So we're done for the day today. We'll be back at 10 o'clock tomorrow, and we've got a full day tomorrow, so it's going to be really great. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Don't focus on the how, focus on the why. Focus on the why. So,
Bye,
all right.
Lisa.
Bye.
Thank
See you
you.
later.